It's time to take off your clothes, enjoy clothes-free living, and join us for Naked, Nudist, and Naturist.
Welcome to Naked, Nudist, and Naturist, the show that celebrates clothes-free living for all. I'm your host, Frank Stone.
And I'm your correspondent, Lisa Monroe, and I'll be reporting on all things within the naturist community. So it's time to get naked and join us.
And enjoy clothes-free living on Naked, Nudists, and Naturists. Well, greetings and welcome into Naked, Nudists, and Naturists, episode 114 today. Really glad that you are with us, ready to enjoy clothes-free living for all of the right reasons with us during the show. Hope you're ready to go. I know that we are. The pool is clean as a whistle, fresh chlorine early this morning, so you should be just fine. Hot tub is fired up, grill is going full bore, fruits and vegetables off to the right, cold drinks off to the left, hot drinks inside, including that espresso machine that one of our listeners donated. Cigar bar in the back left corner of the pool, inside the pool screen, and outside of the pool screen, we have a hammock between two trees. If you need a break, want to get away from it all, maybe a quick nap, you're ready to go, we have the hammock for you. And of course, as always, we have extra towels, extra chairs, extra suntan lotion. If you showed up with nothing at all, well, that's even better because we have everything for you. So just dive in and again, enjoy clothes-free living for all of the right reasons with us during the show today. Well, on today's show, guess what? In 2 days, August 15th, it will be Home Nudist Day, and we will talk a whole bunch about that when Lisa Monroe comes in. Rick DORCIAK, you've heard that name 5 gazillion times on this show. He is from Kick-Ass Nudists. He is on fire for naturism. Can't talk about it enough. And he does a great job promoting naturism, clothes-free living for all. Lives at Lake Como Resort. That's his actual residence. He lives there year-round. He wrote an article about Home Nudist Day. What's it all about? Why did it get started? He's the one who started it, by the way. He and his group TAN, T-A-N, stands for Thinking About Nudism, T-A-N, and he and his group came up with this idea. We have other designated days for naked people. We have Skinny Dipping Day. We have Naked Gardening Day. And somebody in the group said, why don't we just have a Home Nudist Day? And people in the group thought, yeah, that's a heck of an idea. Let's do it. And so they established this Home Nudist Day that will be this Friday, August 15th. And we will talk about that quite a bit, Lisa Monroe and I will. We also have a poem to read to you today by Nahna James, a gentleman we found on the internet. We've not yet met him, but did a great job in writing a poem about naturism, nudism. What is it all about? Yeah, it used to be sexualized to him because that's how society portrays it. You see a naked body, oh baby, fireworks time, 4th of July, New Year's Eve all rolled into one. And he finally came to the realization, well, that's not true. We've been lied to forever. The naked body is God's creation. We were born that way, so let's celebrate it as such. So a poem today from Nahna James. Hope you'll enjoy that as well. This is now our third Wednesday show. Every Wednesday, for now, we're giving you a brand new show, 12 o'clock noon p.m. Eastern Time. Just Lisa and just myself going back and forth, going at it, discussing naturism, nudism, clothes-free living for all of the right reasons. No guests, and we are not concerned with time. When we're done, we're done. If we go over an hour, that's fine. If we're under an hour, that's fine. If it's 5 minutes, that's fine. If it's 3 hours, that's fine. How about that? Talk about a relaxed mode. We can do whatever we want. The regular Saturday show, because we keep that to specifically 1 hour on the dot, technically 59 minutes and 59 seconds. There are sometimes time constraints. Well, we want to talk about these 8 things, but we only have time for 7. Well, that's just the life in the big city, as they say. But on this show, no, we can do that. We have 8 things to talk about. We'll talk about all 8. And when we're done, we're done. The feedback has been tremendous. We appreciate you for listening. We really do. We do these shows for you. We don't do them for any other reason. We're not sitting in our basement creating these just to have fun for ourselves. We're doing it for the greater cause to promote naturism, that it's truly, genuinely the intended way to live. That's what it was all about. Society introduced clothes originally because the weather started to change. People started to move to where the weather changed. And when you get cold, you got to put something on. Or if you're walking around in the desert all day, you got to put something on. You get burned to a crisp. So clothes were created by people for those reasons, to be protected from the elements, not to be protected from being seen or from walking down Main Street. Now, that was totally normal. And we've been through that 500 gazillion times in the show. No need to go on about it today. But that's why we're here, to talk about naturism, nudism, clothes-free living for all the right reasons, to keep you going, to keep you inspired. If you've been doing this for 300 years, great. It's always good to hear about it some more. And if you're brand new, this is terrific information for you as well. No, you're not weird. I love to be naked. I must be weird. We've heard before. No, the opposite. I love to be clothed. I love to have 5,000 dresses in my closet and 100 pair of shoes and 55 suits. Now that's weird. That's weird. To want so many pieces of clothing. But to be naked? No, totally normal. All right, well, let's get to it. Again, you are listening to Naked, Nudist, and Naturist, episode 114 today. I don't know about you, but I think I hear some music underneath my voice. Do you hear it? Let's listen for a second. Yes, there it is. I hear it. I hope you hear it too. That can only mean one thing. It's time for the great, the terrific, the completely over-the-top, fully clothes-free, and fully smiling, our naturism correspondent, Lisa Monroe. And here she is, the one and only, the completely clothes-free and fully smiling, our naturism correspondent, Lisa Monroe. Good morning, Lisa. How are you today?
Good morning, Frank. I'm doing terrific. How about yourself this really nice, bright, sunny morning?
It really is nice, bright, and sunny, and I'm doing well. And can you believe it? We're already on our third Wednesday episode. Time is flying by like crazy.
It's unbelievable how quick it's going, but this is being fun. This has been fun, but we certainly are doing more during the week than we did. But it's still fun. I enjoy it.
Yeah, and the feedback has been great.
Mm-hmm.
People, which is not a surprise. People told us they wanted this.
Yep.
We're giving it to them, and they're saying, "Thank you, it's great." Well, of course, it makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
It certainly does. And I'm just happy that they do seem to enjoy this and we're having fun with it. So, everybody wins this way, I think.
Yeah. It gives us a chance to delve into topics a little more deeply. We might have to give them short shrift on the regular Saturday show because of time. We'll keep every show to an hour, and about at least roughly a half hour or so is devoted to a guest, leaving us only a half an hour. And if we have a report up front from an author, or, from Andy Rogers, well, then that takes away from the time that we had together. So we have to short shrift a lot of things on that show with our segments. But on these Wednesday shows, no holds barred. How about that?
And that sounds good to me. And of course, we've already proven that we can talk for an hour without having any other issues going on. So it's fun,
Yeah. I think somebody just needs to tap us each on the shoulder, and we immediately start talking and don't stop until we get tapped again.
Yeah. Anytime I hear 3, 2, 1, I'm done.
Well, now you just gave away an inside radio secret, so you shouldn't do that.
Sorry about that. No, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
You can always edit it out.
Yeah. Every guest who comes on knows that's how we start the recording. I hit the record and I say 3, 2, 1, and take a breath and then start. And that's for editing purposes later, so I know exactly when the whole thing is going to begin. But that's okay. That's what Wednesdays are for. We'll give away our trade secrets and go from there. How about that?
Works for me.
Can't do that in terrestrial radio, of course, because live is live. And you say 3, 2, 1, you just sound ridiculous. But when you record, you can do that, right?
Yes. And don't they do hand signals in radio and television to say when it's happening?
Television for sure. Radio not as much. In fact, often the producer is in a separate room. And they're just kind of connected either by headphones or in some of the state-of-the-art studios are connected by screen. But for the most part, they'll just say through the headphones, Bill is on line 3. and the host takes Bill whenever he's ready to go, and I guess that's it.
Off and running. That's pretty cool though. It's
Yeah,
fun.
yeah,
It's really
yeah,
fun.
yeah, very much so. All right. Well, on today's show, we have been talking about Elvis coming in. He and Jennifer were in contact. We thought last week he'd come in, didn't make it, couldn't make it. We knew in advance he wasn't coming. Fortunately or unfortunately, Aria Andre stepped forward. He came in, and we thought he'd be in today, Elvis that is, and he's not. So we'll keep after him. Just a matter of getting our schedules coordinated. So no Elvis today, but we do have a couple things we want to talk about. One is Home Nudist Day, which comes up in only 2 days, this Friday in 2 days, August 15th. And we also have a poem we want to read on nudism. And we'll do that, maybe talk about the article about halfway through, stop and read the poem and come back to the article. And the article was written by who else? Rick Dorciak. I'm going to start calling him the king of nudism. He's just all over the place. I don't think he sleeps. Do you think he sleeps?
I think that's a good title.
Yeah.
No, I don't think he does. I think he's just running around everywhere he can promoting nudism. So
Yeah. Yeah. To heck with
and it's
sleep.
wonderful.
As I used to tell people, they'd say, "How do you get all this done? Do you ever sleep?" And I said, "Well, there'll be someday will come. Well, that's all I'll be doing is sleeping because, I'll be gone." And maybe Rick has the same philosophy. I'm alive. Might as well do things that alive people do.
Exactly. And take every advantage of every second. So,
That's
and he
right.
does. And that's
Yeah.
great.
That's how you get the most done in life. So this was written by Rick Dorciak, and it's through the American Association for Nude Recreation. They are sponsoring Home Nudist Day, which was originally developed by Rick and his group called TAN. It's an acronym, TAN, thinking about nudism. And Lisa, the title of the article is Home Nudist Day. Why don't you read the first two paragraphs?
Okay, be glad to. Not every nudist walks confidently into a resort or strolls freely down a new beach their first time out. In fact, many begin the journey quietly, alone, curious, and at home. That was me 40 plus years ago, and it turns out the story of so many others. My own experience inspired me to create TAN, TAN, thinking about nudism, a safe and welcoming meeting space for anyone curious about the culture. Home Nudist Day actually started during a TAN meeting. We were talking about the differences that nudist days that nudists celebrate, like World Naked Gardening Day and International Skinny Dipping Day, and someone asked, why isn't there a day for home nudists? It was a simple, honest question, and it sparked something in the room. I thought, why not? We all agreed it made sense to have a day to honor the private, personal side of nudism, the way many of us got started. We chose August 15th, not because of any historical event or national recognition, it's just simply because it felt right. A good day to celebrate a quiet, powerful culture that deserves its own spotlight.
Yeah, very well said. And that very first sentence in the first paragraph, not every nudist walks confidently into a resort or strolls freely down the beach their first time out. I'm thinking almost no nudist does that the first time out. I've never taken my clothes off in public before. Here I am, world, at Hallover Beach, and look at me. Very few people do that. They don't know if it's right or they don't feel right because they've always been told you're not supposed to be seen naked in public, which goes against everything that we've talked about before. And I remember my first trip to a nudist resort, and I've mentioned this before, I didn't get there till I was in my 30s, which is really tough to explain mathematically since I'm only 27, but we'll save that for another day. And even though I'd been living clothes free pretty much my whole life, other than, when you go to the store or school or church or whatever, I was clothes free. So I was used to that. And I showed up and I thought, is this really allowed? Can I take my clothes off here at the pool? No, certainly somebody will come out because I'd been to, zillions of pools, hotels, recreation centers, always had to have a suit on. So here I am at a swimming pool thinking, no, that can't be allowed. Well, it was, and I went for it, and it obviously felt great. And then the same nudist resort had roads built within it because they had camping, they had cabins, like so many resorts do. And there were people arriving to their campsite or whatever, coming out for coffee or making breakfast on the outdoor grill. And I wanted to go for a walk, actually go running. And I thought, according to theory and according to what appear to be the rules of the club, I can go running down that road past these people with no clothes on. Now, that was never allowed anywhere in my life before, obviously. You can't run down Main Street with no clothes on. You have to have something on. But I thought, they tell me I can just run down the street naked. And so I did. And it was fine. A few people said hi, a few people didn't even notice, and it was totally fine. So, yeah, I understand the whole thing of you don't walk confidently into a resort or a nude beach your first time out. Any reaction to any of that?
Well, I understand. I don't think very many people do. I think we've had someone who wrote in who said he was really nervous in the parking lot, but
Mhm.
just went for it, took the clothes off and walked in and felt great. So there are some people that can actually psych themselves up and may have prepared themselves well enough to go, you know what, I'm going for broke and just do it. And I think that particular person felt really comfortable because suddenly they realized nobody was paying any attention to them. Everybody was naked and everybody didn't care. So I
Yeah.
think that makes a big difference. My first time to a larger group, like at a resort, was when it was a social nudist within a small group. We weren't really a non-landed club or anything like that. We weren't, anything official, but just a group of friends who get together at somebody's pool, and everybody liked to be naked. So we just jumped in. There was never anything untoward. There were couples there. There were, people, single men there that were not an issue for anybody. So, that was my comfort zone of people that I knew. And so I never worried about it. Well, we decided one day to take the group as a whole and go to a resort. And I will say that because I was with people I already knew and was comfortable being nude with, it wasn't an issue to walk into a resort, but I can see very much how a single person walking in that first time, it is not the easiest thing that we can do.
Well, he talked about developing this day. We have other days for nudism, naturism, Naked Gardening Day, International Skinny Dip Day. Now we have Home Nudist Day. I'm just thinking off the top of my head here. Wouldn't it be nice to have 365 naked days a year, whatever we call it? Naked washing your car day, naked eating a piece of toast day. We could just make anything up because the more we get it out there, today's a naked day to do something. And the more we get it out there, the more people will begin to accept it as normal, in quotation marks. To us, it's already normal. It's society that's messed it up. It's normal to be nude. It's not normal to be clothed. We have that all backward, as we've discussed a million times. Well,
Yes,
I'm
we
glad.
do.
Yeah, I'm glad Rick stepped forward with his tan group, thinking about nudism, and has this home nudist day. And again, it's only 2 days away. And I'm going to go out on a limb here, Lisa, and predict that you will be celebrating Home Nudist Day the correct way.
Oh, absolutely. And I predict you will be as well.
Yes.
And so will everybody else in this behind the glass here. And everything. This, I think there are more of us than anyone has any clue about. I think there are more home nudists who some may even not know about the naturism community, may not know how to reach out to people. But I have a feeling there are an awful lot of people who walk in that house and rip off those clothes and go about their life feeling good and enjoying it and not realizing exactly why that there's a kind of community out there that they could become.
Yeah. I've had a few people tell me, not necessarily friends, but people I know well, and we share some things in life together, but not necessarily personal friends, but I know them reasonably well, if that makes any sense at all.
Yep.
And this one guy said, he and his wife, they don't have any kids. It was just he and his wife were in their home. He said, just enjoying the day when somebody knocked on the door and they weren't expecting anybody. He said, so I had to quickly grab a pair of pants and a shirt. And,
Hmm.
he said, my wife ran to the back and grabbed a robe. And I thought, he's telling me that they were naked, is
Yep.
what he's telling me. He
Yep.
didn't want to say the words, or apparently he doesn't know that we do this show.
Hmm.
And that's what I mean. He's not a friend, so
Hmm.
he doesn't know everything about me. I don't know everything about him. But he felt the need to tell me that. He didn't have to. He could have said, oh, yeah, I was home
And
and one of our new neighbors knocked on the door. And, I answered the door. We had a good discussion. In fact, we're having dinner this Friday, which is exactly what played out. But he felt the need to kind of slip it in there. Hey, baby, we were naked,
hmm
just the two of us, being home nudists all day. So you're right. I think a whole lot of people out there, you see them in public and you even get to know them a little bit. You would never think, but there they are. When they're home, they're clothes free. How about that?
I think it's wonderful. And I think we've seen that a bit in the outreach that we've had from people that basically are not coming from Anna, not coming from TikTok, not coming from Twitter, not coming from any place. They're finding us in different ways, and they're looking for something. They didn't realize it was there. Maybe they stumble across it, but people are coming to us that have never been involved. I know several people who joined Twitter that were members that just all of a sudden showed up on Twitter, and they started 2 days after they contacted us. So that's
Yeah.
really good to see because that means that they're starting to engage. It's what Rick wants to see. It's
Hmm.
they're starting to engage and realize that there's more out there for them as naturists.
Yeah, yeah, that's very well said. And it's probably a good point to point out that you see people on social media every day,
Hmm.
50,000 pictures of themselves naked.
Hmm.
Here I am naked outside. Here I am naked inside. Here I am washing the boat. Here I am, whatever. That's not naturism to me. That's full on exhibition. I want to show my naked body. What do you think? Send me a like or a comment. Beautiful body there, baby, or dude, or
Hmm.
whatever. So don't get caught up in that. And, I guess that's what naturism is. You become a naturist, you have to pose a gazillion photos of yourself online. That is beyond belief, so far from the truth, it's not even close. I'm guessing you agree.
I agree. I mean, I think we have heard some people say before that, well, you're not a naturist if you don't pose a naked picture on social media.
Yeah.
I beg to differ. I am a naturist if I choose and say I am, not. I don't have to convince anyone. And so I think that a lot of people may fear that if they engage in this social media, that they're supposed to also, present themselves in a way that they're not comfortable with. And maybe they don't want to for a lot of different reasons. It's not just, they don't want to be naked. There may be other reasons. So we need to just let people enjoy naturism the way it is. And I think Rick's movement to bring people into a larger scope of being able to enjoy it is great, but if they don't want to come, that's their choice.
There you go. All right, let's move on. In Rick's article, Rick Dorciak, Home Nudist Day through the American Association for Nude Recreation. Let's answer the big question: why Home Nudist Day? Nudists who frequent resorts and beaches already have many days to celebrate, like I said earlier: International Skinny Dip Day, World Naked Gardening Day, and the World Naked Bike Ride, just to name a few. These events are incredible expressions of public joy, freedom, and body positivity, but we realized something was missing: a day for the quiet nudists, the ones who don't feel ready to be public, but who are still part of this culture in a very real way. Home Nudist Day was born out of the belief that every step in the nudist journey matters. You don't need to be seen by others to be valid. Well, shoot, that's basically what we just said, isn't it?
Exactly right. And kudos to Rick for
Yeah.
saying the ones who don't aren't ready to feel public, but are still part of this culture in a very real way.
Hmm.
And I think that's what most of them do sense is that if they're not out there showing off or at least sharing. I don't want to say everyone shows off, but a lot of people share a lot of photos, then they feel that they're not part of it, that I think it almost makes them ashamed. And that's the last thing we want to do is make
Yeah.
these people feel like they are not as important as the person who's, strutting through the resort. So yeah, I think this is a fabulous thing for Rick to do and for Anna to back.
Yeah, let me read that last sentence again so it's not lost on anybody. You don't need to be seen by others to be valid. You
Yes.
can be a fully blown nudist, naturist, clothes free
Yes.
living person, 25/8, and nobody has to know or ever see you. You can do that, and it's fully accepted. So hats off to Rick on
Yes.
that, everything, but that particular sentence. Lisa, if you don't mind, read the next two sections there.
You don't need to be in a crowd to celebrate. Nudism is deeply personal, and for many, that personal journey begins at home. The three most common questions we hear at TAN are: am I really a nudist if I've never gone to a beach or resort? Absolutely. Nudism is about how you live and how you see yourself, not where you do it. If you feel peace, joy, and authenticity in being nude at home, you're already a part of the community.
All right, and I'll take over from there. How do I know if I'm ready to try a nudist beach or event? There's no timeline. Read, talk to others, come to a TAN meeting, and trust your comfort level. Many take small steps like visiting a secluded clothing optional beach during off hours or booking a day pass at a quiet resort. The important thing is that it's your decision.
Yes.
And Lisa, if you don't mind finishing up this section.
Will I be judged for how I look? And I think that's a fear of a lot of people.
Hmm.
Well, the answer is never. The nudist community is one of the most accepting spaces you'll find. All bodies are normal here. What you look like is the least interesting thing about you. Nothing personal, and that's a beautiful thing.
Oh, there it is. That says it all right there. Nobody cares what you look like. Neither should you. You know, big, little, short, tall, whatever. That has nothing to do with being a nudist. As other people have said, if you have a body and take your clothes off, guess what? You're a nudist. That quickly. That makes sense, doesn't it?
It certainly does. And you know what? There aren't too many perfect bodies, and most of those are airbrushed in magazines. So, and that's the fallacy that we've had now is that, people automatically consider that if you're not, 5'10" and 104 pounds and have, things implanted that make you look curvy, then you're not perfect. And that's really not true. But, we're all, none of us look like that.
Yeah,
None.
well, yeah, that's very true. Let's read one more section here, and then we'll dash off to our poem and then come back to Rick's article.
Okay.
And the title is What is Home Nudist Day? Well, Home Nudist Day, observed April 15th, again, only 2 days from now,
Mhm.
is a day to recognize and celebrate home nudists, people who choose to live clothes free in the privacy of their own space. Whether it's just lounging in the living room, gardening in the backyard, or working from home in the nude, this culture fosters body acceptance, mental peace, and emotional freedom. Take it from there.
The day is meant to be low pressure, inclusive, and personal. There are no parades, no public gatherings, no need to post anything about it unless you choose to do so or to prove anything to anyone. It's simply about honoring the fact that you've chosen to live more authentically and comfortably in your own skin.
You know, again, every sentence I read of Rick DORCIAK's just, I just want to get on a mountaintop and shout, yes, 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 over and over. There are no parades, no public gatherings, no need to post anything about it unless you choose to do so or prove anything to anyone. And why do you need to prove anything to anyone? You're you, you do you, and just live your life accordingly, I think is what he is saying here. And I know for sure you agree with that because you've said that many times.
I certainly do. And I love the fact that you don't have to prove anything to anyone. And those people who tell you you do or you're not authentic, those are the people with problems. And those are the ones that probably don't need to be involved in this community. They're not here for the right reasons.
That's right.
Sorry.
That's right. All right, let's move on to our poem here. We'll get back to Rick's article in a minute. But as a reminder, you are listening to Naked Nudists and Naturists, episode 114 today, our third Wednesday episode. Glad you're with us, enjoying clothes free living for all of the right reasons. And a lot of times, well, almost every time on the Saturday show, I say, enjoy clothes free living for the next hour. Well, we don't know how long this is going to go. So just enjoy clothes free living during the entire show. And what the heck, keep enjoying it when the show ends. So let's get to our poem, a nudism poem titled I'm a Nudist. This is by Nahna James, a gentleman, and published on July 23rd of this year. And Lisa, if you don't mind, why don't you read the first four stanzas there?
I'm a nudist. And if you don't know what it is, it means I'm a naked person, not wearing anything at all. Growing up, nudity was always sexualized in my community, in my country, in my place of study, in my place of worship. I even admit I was guilty of associating nudity with sex for the longest time.
That's right. You know, continue on. Until I came across the nudist community, it showed me a different perspective. It taught me how to take nude pictures confidently in nature, in my home, in public places where it's allowed. I now feel free, I now feel liberated, and above all, I now feel a strong connection with myself. And why don't you go ahead and finish up?
I feel the connection with myself has deepened over the years of being a nudist. I thank, I thank all the nudist communities, home nudists, public nudists, nudist couples, bisexual nudists, trans nudists, lesbian nudists, gay nudists, straight nudists, all around the world for giving folks like me, a different perspective to life.
There you go. And as he admitted up front, as is the case with most people, nudity was sexualized. You know, you see
Mhm.
skin on the screen, oh baby, sex is going to happen. And that's how we grow up. That's what's embedded into our brains. And we're told, we can't have sex with anybody until you get married. And there's sex on the screen. There's a naked, what do I do now? Well, right, because you've been lied to forever. You've been discombobulated. We were among the same crowd. You see a couple enter a bedroom in a movie and say, hey, I wonder if the clothes are going to come off. And they do. And say, all right, this is pretty good stuff here, until you realize we've been, again, lied to forever. So we appreciate that. And again, Nahna James, it's spelled Nahna, is the first name. Nahna James, published on July 23rd. His poem, I'm a Nudist. And we appreciate that very much. Any comments, Lisa, before we go back to Rick's article?
Just a wonderful sentiment. I mean, he captured exactly what's going on, that everyone, it doesn't matter what walk of life, whatever, however you identify, whatever you are, it doesn't matter. Naturism encompasses everyone. And it's probably the only thing in this entire planet that actually does that.
Yeah, very well said. All right, let's head back to our article, Home Nudist Day, written by Rick DORCIAK, sponsored by the American Association for Nude Recreation. Home Nudist Day is this Friday, 2 days from now, August 15th. The subheading here is the benefits and features of Home Nudist Day. Well, body positivity. Being nude at home can help people reconnect with their bodies in a natural, judgment-free way. It teaches self-acceptance without the pressure of external opinions. Mental health and stress relief. Without the restriction of clothing or the anxiety of public perception, home nudists often experience reduced stress, better sleep, and a calming sense of personal freedom. And Lisa, if you can take it from there and finish up this section.
Inclusivity. People with physical insecurities, trauma, social anxiety, or disabilities often find home nudism to be a healing starting point. Home Nudist Day welcomes everyone, regardless of comfort level. And there's safe exploration. It gives people permission to explore nudism in a way that feels safe, manageable, and affirming without needing to rush into social nudist spaces before they're ready. A gateway to growth. For some, Home Nudist Day is a reminder that it's okay to be right where they are. For others, it might be the encouragement that they need to take the next step to a nudist beach, resort, or community event when the time feels right.
Yeah, that's so well said. Yeah, there is a little stress for some people, maybe a lot of stress for others. You want me to go to a beach and take my clothes off? Oh boy, I don't know. I don't know if I can do that. Well, taking your clothes off at home, especially when you're alone, now come on. Even I will say, come on, you got to do this. You got to try this, because there's nobody there. You don't have to tell anybody. You don't have to take any pictures. Nobody ever knows that you have to do it. But when you do it, all of these things begin to take place, and you become almost transformed, and then you begin to wonder fairly quickly, why didn't I do this 100 years ago, right?
Very much so. He mentioned it's part of a stress relief process. And I've often told you, everyone, that
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would hit the front door, the key would be going in, and something would be being unbuttoned. And the feeling of getting those work clothes off, those formal things off, and it's like peeling away the day, and it makes you feel so much more relaxed. And it was, I just left them in a pile on the floor. And I go back and pick them up very soon. But whatever, and that's kind of metaphorical, but it is that you shed that stress and that overcoming feeling of being people all day, and then suddenly you feel comfortable and free, and it's time to breathe. You can take a breath.
Mm-hmm. Well, the days when I left the home every morning fully dressed in a suit,
Mhm.
pants, a dress shirt, tie, coat, and obviously dress shoes and socks, looked like $1,000,000. Felt like, man, what am I doing here? Well, after a long day, and every day was long, I would come home and, just like you, okay, I am seconds away from getting in that
Mhm.
door. I would beeline it to the bedroom, and unlike you, I
Mhm.
didn't throw my suits on the floor. I gently hung them up,
Oh.
and then clothes free as can be. And on most days, if I got home early enough, I went outside to soak in the sun from my deck or
Mhm.
wherever I happened to be at the time, if possible. And before I did that, I would always put dinner in the oven, which was already semi prepared in the refrigerator, ready to go. So within 3 minutes, that's all it took.
Mhm.
Clothes were off, dinner was in the oven, and I was outside soaking in the sun. And then obviously done with the sun, You come in, still clothes free. You shower, clothes free. You get out of the shower, still clothes free. You have dinner, clothes free. And guess what? The clothes never went back on. And yeah, you feel like a different person. You feel more alive, don't you?
You certainly do. And, we've talked about clothing being personas that when you slip on something, whatever you're wearing, if it's an evening gown or a tux, you suddenly become that kind of an individual. That persona falls on you. Blue jeans and t-shirt is different, same way, but those work clothes, you put on the suit and the heels and the hose and the, jewelry, and you walk out the door acting all confident and everything. And really inside, you just want to be naked and get back in the house, but you do what you have to do. And I think that, it is a haven for people that they don't realize because it does. I'm telling you, the second the suit came off, or maybe the pantyhose, one or the other. But the second that that was all gone, I felt like me. I didn't have to put on that corporate persona. I didn't have to be the, HR person and, ready to chop off someone's head or whatever, which I did not do. Trust me. I was not that kind of HR person, but it's it's a difference and it's a wonderful feeling. Absolutely wonderful feeling.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. And just to clarify for the listeners here, when you talked about taking off heels and hose, you were talking about yourself, not both of those, because I have no experience in taking off either one of those.
No, 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 no,
Okay.
no. Frank's not involved in that part at all.
All right.
Trust me, it was all mine.
All
The
right.
legs were mine.
Suit and tie and no heels or hose for Frank Stone. Let's put that on our business card somewhere, I guess.
Exactly.
All right, let's go ahead and finish up Rick DORCIAK's article on Home Nudist Day, which is only 2 days from now. The subheading is Why Now? In a world that increasingly encourages curated images and filtered lives, people are longing for something more real, more honest, more free. Body positivity is gaining ground, but many still struggle silently with shame, fear, and insecurity, especially when it comes to nudity. Now is the time to show people that freedom doesn't start at the beach, resort, or anywhere public, it starts at home. Home Nudist Day isn't about doing more, it's about being more, more comfortable, more confident, more connected to your true self. It's a starting point, a moment of recognition, a quiet revolution of self acceptance that has the power to ripple outward. And Lisa, if you'll go ahead and just finish up the article.
Whether you're thinking about nudism, just starting out, or have lived it quietly for years, Home Nudist Day is for you. You don't have to go anywhere, prove anything, or change who you are. Just be, just breathe, just celebrate the skin you're in because that alone is worth honoring. TAN is, or Thinking About Nudism, is proudly working with the American Association for Nude Recreation to promote and support Home Nudist Day. Together, we are working to create a space for home nudists to be seen, celebrated, and encouraged wherever they are on their journey. Happy Home Nudist Day.
And again, that's a reasonably lengthy article by Rick DORCIAK. We've had him on the show before. He's from Kick Ass Nudists in Florida, big in Pasco County, and lives at Lake Como Resort, which is a nudist resort. He lives there. That's his home. He lives there full time year round. And he wrote the article. He started TAN, Thinking About Nudism. And this article is presented in association with the American Association for Nude Recreation. And Lisa, we don't have to worry about, oh boy, only 2 days, we're going to take our clothes off. We pretty much celebrate Home Nudist Day every day, don't we?
I think we do, and that's the way people should be.
Yeah.
If you can even be a home nudist if you don't practice nudism every day. If
Right,
if
right.
there's some reason you can't take your clothes off when you get home, it's not really how much you do it, it's the state of being that you have and that you think about. And so if you're able to do it whenever you can, but never think that if I'm not thinking 5, 7, 6 days a week, whatever, that I'm not one of the crowd. You are the in crowd. The rest of us, kind of got out and showed off a little bit. But
Yeah.
this is where naturism is at its most core. And that is where you're feeling comfortable with yourself.
All right. Very well said. You and I will get together again in only 3 days. Now, Home Nudist Day is in 2 days. Our Saturday show is in 3 days, and we'll have part 2 of my interview with James Grant, reasonably brand new to naturism, loving every second of it, and I'm expecting bigger and better things from James because he's on fire for naturism.
He sure is.
Anything planned over the next couple of days till I see you on Saturday?
No, nothing other than being naked as much as possible and doing a bit of work. But no, I was sitting here thinking about Home Nudist Day, and I'm thinking, you could celebrate in your own home. You don't have to make a splash of it. I wonder what the local grocery store would think if you went in and said, "Could you make a cake for me that says Happy Home Nudist Day?"
Yeah,
Wonder
I
what
think they'd do it. I think
I think
they'd
they
do it.
do it too,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I think it might be fun. That might be the way to break the ice. You never know. So go get cakes
yeah.
for Happy Nudist Day.
And while you're ordering the cake, if you have a Naked Nudist and Naturist T-shirt on and a Naked Nudist
Yes,
and Naturist hat, and say, "Yes, I'd like a nudist cake." Well, what says I'm a nudist more than that, right?
exactly.
All right.
I like that.
All right, Lisa Monroe, go out there and have a great clothes-free few days, and we'll see you on this coming Saturday.
Yep, I'll be back. See you guys then.
All right. The very terrific Lisa Monroe. She does it all around here. We value her very much for herself as a person, but also for all that she does. She runs the merchandise thing all by herself, helps with the Patreon page, helps organize the shows. We discuss topics. We talk every day, a whole bunch, sometimes many hours, about the show. Why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? And let's think about this. Let's think about that. A very valuable and key member of the show, but you already knew that, and we appreciate Lisa Monroe very much. And as a reminder, on this coming Saturday, we will be dropping episode 115, which will feature part 2 of my interview with James Grant, a relatively brand new person to the world of naturism. Well, you've been listening to Naked Nudists and Naturists, episode 114 today. We give you a brand new show every Saturday morning, 6 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time, and on most Wednesdays, 12 noon Eastern Time. Continue to join us. Check us out on our website, nakednudistandnaturist.com, Spotify, Google, Amazon/Audible, Apple Podcasts, and also on Twitter. You can write us anywhere, anytime, any place. And we thank you for being with us today. Plan to join us for every single one of our shows here and have your clothes off when you're listening. We have our clothes off when we're broadcasting, enjoying the naturist life.
We celebrate clothes-free living for all. Remember to enjoy being naked and join us again for Naked Nudists and Naturists.
We drop a brand new show every Saturday morning, so come back and join us. Have your clothes off when you do for Naked Nudists and Naturists. Have a great clothes-free day.